out, BooMan's coming. You better watch out, the BooMan's coming. You better watch out, the BooMan's coming.
Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of my video blog. I am the Mystic BooMan, and I appreciate you coming back. I'd like to start off by addressing, first off, thanks for the overwhelming amount of views and responses to my video. I would like to address some of the more commonly asked questions, like why don't you sit up straight when you're talking? What's up with your face? Why is one nostril bigger than the other? Was that a unibrow that you chopped? Why are you bald? Why do you look like that? These are all fair questions. I will try to sit up straighter as we go on. I don't know why I'm like that. I think I was dropped as a baby and I'm a little bit lopsided. On the other hand, I think that works to my advantage, as I believe my left brain and right brain, as in other people, are separated pretty much, and then one is dominant and one is less dominant. And you, in my case, they have kind of merged together, and you see a lot of time, and it's been commented on, why do I interrupt myself? Why do I pause and this, that, and the other? It's because my left and right have been meshed, and it's kind of a mess, like if the Republicans and the Democrats finally got together and started trying to cooperate, and it'd just be just a maelstrom, it'd just be a madhouse in the middle, while you keep the left and rights on the edges would still be not congealed like it is in the center. And I'm saying in the center it's not congealed, but it's all mixed up. And sometimes, as you see, I don't have the right word, and I'm not scripting these, I'm going on train of thought. So there we have that. As far as what we've discussed so far, we had an intro video. We had last time I discussed why you should not masturbate, and that still stands, young men in particular. Let me turn on the lights, light my face up. I'm using my monitors for my light source, so they go out frequently. I don't know how to keep them on. That's a little bit bright. Another thing, I don't have a official webcam. I'm using just a regular camera, so I'm not seeing myself. Otherwise I would correct myself before I wrecked myself. And as promised last time, I'll address some of these other issues. Another question I frequently get are what's the deal with the magic numbers? You should know, but if you don't know, it will, as I always promise you, it will become clear in time. So I hope you are keeping track of those, and don't let me forget them. I got to move on to this issue. I promised the preppers some advice. I want to get that in, and I got to get you those magic numbers. They're right here. People have asked, they've said it seems like you're just making them up off the top of your head, and that I can assure you is not the case. So before I forget, and I'll get back to some of these other questions, and I'll try to address some of the questions that you had for me, like some people, is this for real? Is this a joke? And blah 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 blah. And I assure you it's no joke. What you are watching is real. Now, for the preppers, if nothing else, I consider myself a problem solver and a thinker. So when I started seeing these prepper videos about the world without rule of law and shit hit the fans, and they abbreviate these as WROL and SHTF, and then they describe what they're doing to prepare by stockpiling food, in particular medical supplies, bandages, etc. And I think this is great. I think it's a good idea. Whether you believe there's going to be a collapse, whether you believe my thing about the effeminizing of the male population, whether you think that's a joke or not, you should do these things, if nothing else, but for the reason of, like, if there's a natural disaster like Katrina. I'm in North Carolina. We've had hurricanes come through here, and I have been caught and without food and water, and I just got in the car and I packed up and headed west to the mountains and had a little vacation where whereas everybody was left cleaning the place up, and of course I want no part of that. So let's say I was in that same situation and we didn't have water, it was hot as hell, girlfriend at my throat, no air conditioning, etc., etc. It's just nasty. The grocery stores were bare, but we could get in the car and go somewhere. But let's say when this economic collapse, you can't get in your car and go somewhere because where you go is going to be the same as where you're at. It's a good idea to be prepared, and you should have things like water, dry beans, rice, etc., etc. And I'm not the expert on that. So if you want to look and get some good information, research the rural situation, WROL, and get some good advice from experts. The purpose of my video is I can put myself in that scenario, and I'm listening to all these people, males, females, and they're describing what they're going to do, and they're merely surviving. And I've been in a situation, not only in that North Carolina situation I just described, but I've been in Desert Storm, and I lived in a tent city, and so I have that experience and that insight of what it's like to live. We had one like barrel of water as our water tower, and I ate one MRE a day, maybe less, and then we drank some bottled water, or we drank it out of a water buffalo, which is a water on a trailer, and some nasty stuff because they put chlorine tablets in it, and it tastes just like you're drinking pool water. But it doesn't give you a disease, but it's pretty horrible stuff. So I've sort of lived this situation, and what I'm getting at is, since I've been there, I can tell you how to not, I can give advice to the preppers of not only, they're doing good things on themselves, but how to enhance what they're already doing, and what happens when you have no power and you're blah blah blah. So there's certain things you're going to want to have some cards. A lot of them will tell you that you're going to be working all the time and this, that, and the other. But between the drudgery of the hordes coming to steal your stuff, when nobody comes, you're going to get a little bored. If you have a compound already, I suggest a swimming pool. I mean, why just struggle? Why not just survive, but strive. Put up a wall. So I'm saying, you do your tours, you have some guys on the fence, you have your trip wires to let you know that somebody's coming. You're done with the jars, you're done with your chores. You don't need to survive forever. You just need to out-survive the people who didn't prep, because they're going to starve off, and then it's going to be a world back down to 1 billion people, approximately. That's about right. So, like I said, those people will either die of starvation, or if you kind of get my message, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say about the spices. There's going to be a lot of, how can I put this, smart meat running around. Smart meat might come to take your food storage or your spices that I'm talking about. Smart meat might be your next door neighbor you didn't get along with so well before the collapse of society. But if you get what I'm getting at, pretty much what you need, you're going to need those spices I told you about, and probably a meat grinder, just to make the meat more, you want to grind that meat, make it less identifiable, and kind of maybe detach yourself from the source. But I'm saying if you can separate yourself from the source and maybe not let your family know where the source of the meat is, and you grind it up and you package it, and maybe you have a shed somewhere where you can process your meat and then come back and say to your family, well, I just bartered this, I sold some firewood and I got this ground beef with this hamburger helper in it, and you keep them fed, don't have to tell them where it came from basically ever. You're going to do all right. In fact, you might gain weight in the post-apocalyptic world. Just some things to think about, like if you're late comer to the prepper party, because I see people saying, well, I saw this documentary and this guy went out in the woods and he's like, oh, I'm catching this possum, I'm catching that squirrel. Well, guess what? Everybody's going to be doing that. And when everybody goes to the woods and starts scouring, and the squirrel population, the possum population, raccoon population starts dying, what's going to be left? Smart meat. So just remember that. That's going to be a good tip. You almost let me forget the magic numbers. 2, 4, 9. I know 2 keeps coming up. It's a magic number. 2, 4, 9, 87, 96, 3072. Again, don't rewind that to get the magic numbers. You can rewind it to get the other information about the smart meat, but when you get to the magic numbers, close your ears or fast forward it, because if you rewind it to write them down, the magic is no good. If you know how magic works, you can't cheat magic, really. I think I covered about everything. I might do another segment on living large in the post-apocalyptic world. You don't want to just survive. You want to really thrive. You want to be the envy of other survivors. Where they're just struggling, chopping away at firewood and et cetera, et cetera. You want to, because you want to establish yourself as the aristocratic class in the new world. Why let the other people? You want to establish yourself like that, so that the people in power will identify you as a person in power for the next cycle that's been going on throughout history. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't masturbate. And I think that's about it. If I didn't cover it this time, I'll cover it next time. Bye.
Oh, you know that he's, yeah, you know that he's the one they call the BooMan. They call a BooMan.